A range of issues including the Uniform Civil Code and the implementation of One Nation, One Election. Law Commission Chief has told CNN News 18 that Phase 3 of the UCC consultations will begin very soon. The Law Commission will also bust the myths and misconceptions in general public about what a UCC really comprises. Just to remind our viewers, there is already a draft Law Commission report that exists in the public domain. The ECI has told us that it can execute One Nation, One Poll if proper time is given. Studies suggest that OROP will help people make better conscious choices of their representatives. That's the word really coming in. Let's take you through some key pointers. Law Commission is looking at a host of very important issues right now. Two critical aspects. The Uniform Civil Code, which is a very complicated piece of exercise but a very important exercise that India must complete in this country and do away with the personal laws. Talking about One Nation, One Poll, another important idea, the idea of simultaneous polls. The report finalization will require more meetings. This is as far as One Nation, One Poll is concerned. Some amendments make it more effective, will make it more effective. Simultaneous elections. Even on this subject, there's a draft report that was published by the last Law Commission under Justice B.S. Chauhan. People will choose leaders wisely. Simultaneous elections, should that be a reality in this country? All of that should be something that should be discussed. That's what the Law Commission chairperson has told CNN News 18. And one of the key arguments in favor of simultaneous elections in this country is it will save money. To implement this idea, you'd require about 10,000 crore rupees. That's the catch. Continuous deployment of forces is something that we would need at this point, keeping in mind that elections happened at different junctures. Given time, it can be implemented and executed. Various challenges that lie in the way, but the Law Commission is confident that if it is drafted properly, if it is given time properly, then they can do that. That's what the Law Commission of India chairperson has told CNN News 18, and getting us all those exclusive voices is my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar. Let's also talk about Uniform Civil Code. Haven't we debated and spoken about this idea multiple times? UCC should be a reality in this country. Why should we have so many personal laws? Phase 3 of the consultations will begin very, very shortly. We'll hold various conferences, public meetings. That's something that needs to be done. We'll attempt to remove misconceptions and the myths. Consulted scholars, educationalists and researchers. The Law Commission of India chairperson also says that there are various scholars in different nations that have been consulted, and different countries have already implemented Uniform Civil Code. India needs to catch up to that reality. The Law Commission is also meeting scholars and representatives of bodies representing various religions. Widespread consultations have taken place. That's what the Law Commission chairperson is saying right now. Let me cut across to my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar. He's the one getting us this exclusive conversation. Ananya, let's first talk about One Nation, One Poll. Those are the quotes and graphics we are running on the screen right now. The key takeaways when you spoke to the Law Commission of India chairperson.
Well, definitely. The first and foremost key takeaway when it comes to the One Nation, One Poll is that the Law Commission chairperson has told us that, the finalization of this particular report on One Nation and One Poll would require certain more meetings. He also goes on to say that certain constitutional amendments are necessary to make this process more effective and flexible. Not only this, he's also confirmed to us that when the consultations were held by the Law Commission with the Election Commission of India, the Election Commission of India is very, very confident that it can hold a One Nation, One Poll. But the only catch is that they should be given a requisite, period of time to implement that particular process, because ultimately, even if the Law Commission of India favors a One Nation, One Poll, even if the final report also does it, the implementation has to be done by the Election Commission of India. Not only this, what has also been told us by in fact the Law Commission chief himself is that if at all a One Nation, One Poll comes in, this would not only reduce the financial burden which is actually occurred during the continuous elections that take place, but would also reduce the amount of security forces needed to carry out such a process. Not only this, what has also been told to us, and it's a very, very important argument when it comes to favoring a One Nation, One Election policy, is that whenever a voter would actually be voting after a simultaneous period of time, in the case of a One Nation, One Poll, they will be making much more coordinated choices. They would be making much more effective choices, and not only this, the voter turnout might also increase if at all the one nation one poll is actually implemented in the country. However, the meeting would require some more time. There would be more consultations happening because there is the major issue of constitutional amendment which has to be suggested to the government, and that is exactly what is the last leg of this conversation that is happening at this point of time. By the Law Commission of India, we saw a meeting taking place in fact in the last week, and also
Anand,
we might see some more meetings taking place very soon. So
right. Right. Stay with us on the broadcast, Ananya. We'll continue getting all the details on this very important story. My colleague Ananya Bhatnagar is getting us this piece of information. Mr. Majid Memon is also joining us on the broadcast, getting us more perspective. Mr. Memon, each time there has been a conversation, especially around one nation, one election, it has been cited that somewhere it's antithetical to the federal structure of the country. But the Law Commission of India chairperson sounds very confident. Your thoughts on it, sir?
Now, you see, Law Commission is one of the sources to feed the lawmakers finally and the government to act on it, to agree with it or to disagree with it after receiving information for or against from various other stakeholders. This exercise of finding as to whether we could have one nation, one election is on for several years now.
Yeah.
The last 3-4 years, I am seeing that because we have had the discussion in the law panel and we had invited the views of all political parties, registered political parties also, and majorities of the political parties have opined against one nation, one election, because it has direct impact on the federal structure of the country. India being a vast country, and we have several governments, not just one central government in Delhi, but we have so many state government that are being formed by seeking mandate. So it is not that easy to have, and then our governments which are formed either in the states or in the center many times tumble down before its period is over.
Yeah.
How are you going to have one election at one nation? It's not practically not possible. And if the center falls down, which has happened, Atalji's government was for 13 days. Then many other past prime ministers could not serve for 5 years. So when the center falls, are you going to dissolve all the states and again have one election? It is impossible and it is impracticable. It is absolutely difficult to work on such an idea.
All right. Mr. Menon, thank you so much for getting us all that perspective. Let me now cut across once again to Ananya Bhatnagar, who's with us on the broadcast. Ananya, the Law Commission is very well aware that there are various challenges that lie in the way when it comes to the idea of one nation, one election. Of course, the central government is an important party. They are the ones who have referred this matter for consideration to the Law Commission of India. Have the state governments been consulted? Has their view been taken on the matter? When we talk about the interest groups or the stakeholders, who are the stakeholders that have been consulted? Because one of the principal criticism of one nation, one poll is that it tinkers with the idea of federalism in our country.
Well, definitely, Anusha, this is the idea that is coming out, and especially the political parties who are opposing a one nation, one poll are clearly of the view that, this would not have flexibility, and this whole idea actually lacks various things. But this is the exact reason why, in fact, the Law Commission of India is going for a constitutional amendment, is going to suggest for some constitutional amendments to make this process more effective. However, what we have been told by the Law Commission chief and also by our sources at the Law Commission of India is that the political parties were consulted with not only by this Law Commission, but the previous Law Commission itself also. So definitely all of the views would be taken, and final report is yet to come out. These are just some things that could be shared to us by the Law Commission of India chief. How would all of this be implemented is something that only the final report when it would be coming will be telling. There might be certain